Girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls, they wanna have fun.
They just wanna. And we're back. Having my little sweet potato snack. Back with another video, gang. It's Tuesday. We're on our way to Concept today.
Stay weeping on boys today.
Yes, sir. We had a
Quarter tank of gas, bang.
We had a good session yesterday. We taught the kids nogi. We try to do a little different approach to it. We didn't even really teach the double leg itself. We just were working the entries, and we had a bunch of beginners that they really don't know that much. So it was kind of almost wouldn't make sense for us to teach the technique of double leg. We actually did stuff like just walking down the mat, just trying to emulate where you're getting ready to take the shot. So
Stance in motion,
yeah. We did some of that. So it was
beefing. Oh, flipping them off.
Scrapping. So that was kind of cool. It's a different approach. And then nighttime we were just there to assist. Yeah, we just kind of watch. I think the kids class. What did he do in the kids class? I can't even remember already.
We did the single leg entry. Run the pipe.
Oh yeah, run the pipe. So hoping get some consistency. We did the adults class, and Chris actually talked about. I think he taught something on Saturday. Leg drag.
Yeah, he did leg drag yesterday.
And then he followed up yesterday with more leg drag techniques. So that was good. He did say he wanted to focus on it for about a week. So hopefully they can start working that, structured approach to the techniques. Yeah, I do think that kind of like what Cart was saying, that it's good that you got the technique, but how did you get there, right? How do you enter? What's the scenarios where you start to get there into the position, right? Like if we want to teach something like over under, how do you get there, right? You don't start in that position, right? You got to work to fight for it, right? So
those basic controls that you need prior to doing the technique, and then eventually when you do learn the technique, the coach doesn't have to say, okay, base here, grab here, lean this way, this is your mindset. At least if you're comfortable with the basic control first, and then you start adding the techniques, you're not just learning a bunch of random techniques and how they connect. I think eventually though, you do have to experiment with which moves in certain positions, but if you can't even get a move off, just practice staying in those spots, maintaining.
look at that hat, bro. Digging that new hat you got.
Yes, sir.
Way of life. Yes, sir. Because the one thing too, right, that I was kind of thinking about is that, we talked about it too, right? Like you gotta kind of play to whoever's in the class, right? Shoot, if most of the people are beginners, it's kind of hard to teach them an advanced concept, right?
It's kind of what the 299 was saying about, you could make the most perfectest plan, but sometimes when you see your audience, you might have to freeform on the fly, because you know that some of them are not at the level to get that, or everyone could benefit from a certain tier of information getting unlocked first instead of jumping ahead in levels. Because I was thinking that I had this idea that I wanted to tell it to the class. It was gonna be like I forgot already. I gotta remember after. You go first, Dad. I gotta remember.
Alright. So yeah, just a simple example from last night, right? So it was a leg drag entry, which was good, right? But then he showed it off of De La Riva, right? So De La Riva's a little advanced guard, right? So some people, they don't play De La Riva, right? So okay. But then the second part was the person attacking the leg drag I had to go into headquarters, right? And I saw a lot of people struggling to get into headquarters. I mean, we probably could have spent a whole class just going from breaking Del Evo to getting to headquarters, right? I think sometimes, you know, it's like those seminars, right, where they gotta spam you with like 50 techniques. I think classes sometimes, it depends, right? If you're in a comp school, everybody's like purple belt and above, oh yeah, you can blast off the techniques, but sometimes, especially if there are a lot of beginners, you gotta kind of, you know, slow it down and break it down piece by piece, especially if you teach, you know, 3-4 classes a week, then you can split it up into little pieces, right? Versus like with us, we have one class, we got one shot a week, right? So it's kind of hard to say, okay, last week we did this, and then now we're doing this. So it adds a little bit more difficulty to teaching it that way.
Well, I was thinking that we also assess the room, and we kind of been creating lesson plans for we only need to create lesson plans for those guys once a week, so we kind of, and then we kind of still, like we said, make it concept based, where we're gonna show that conceptual stuff first before we get into the specifics, right? But you know, I think there's specific points in each area that you need to stress more than others and spend time to bring to their attention. You can't be too brief and assume that they're gonna understand what you're saying without telling them, right? So I think that I was thinking about is, you know, jiu-jitsu is like a painting. The technique is like a painting. Okay? The coach is gonna show you a quick overview, fast, what the big picture is, what you want to see. Okay, you know, there might be some people who know how to paint the trees, somebody who's gonna paint the clouds, right? So that what I'm saying there is not everybody's gonna pick up on every single piece of how to paint it if you show how to paint the picture in one day. But say we spend 1 week on how to paint the trees and 1 week on how to paint the background. Okay, so after all those collective time, you have a better idea on how to put all the smaller pieces together, right? Like a tool belt, you have to be able to leverage different tools at different times, and just like your weapon, you need to hone them. So you can't just acquire the tool and not do shit with it. When you learn it, right, mess with it, mess around with it, it's not only gonna be a couple days, not even 1 week. You need like 3 months maybe. Get some developments on it, you know, what's the reactions, what's this, what's that. You know, there's not only one piece. You're gonna do a scissor sweep one way, expect one reaction, but you gotta do the sweep expecting multiple reactions, because that's just the name of the game. Everybody plays differently, everyone has a different style. So as soon as you get under the idea where, okay, it's not just one pathway, it's not what I gotta do, or just focus on one thing, but there can be multiple pathways to getting to the same place you want to be, and there could be other things that you could be focusing on that could help you to get to where you want to be, right? Just being conscious about what you're doing while you're doing it. Don't just freak out and spaz out and go fast and go hard because you just want to be successful, or you're just feeling some traction, like, oh shoot, I'm not getting it, I gotta go harder. That's not the answer. The answer is to look at what you've been doing, rework your approach, implement new ideas, and see where that gets you, right? And test it against the previous results. And keep running my head into the wall, I'm sure it's gonna hurt. How many times is it gonna take for me to learn, right? I mean, easier said than done, but the sooner you can pick up on that type of mindset, you'll be able to kind of critique yourself more often without having to look for the coach's input. Of course, you still need the coach's input, but maybe in different areas now, because now you know in a certain area what to look out for, and you've added it to your game. That's me.
All right, very well said, very well said. So I do want to You know, I felt good yesterday. Like I think my competing recently at least motivated. I think it had a direct motivation on one of our students, Viv. She hit me up last night after class saying, "Oh, I'm gonna sign up," and it just came out of the blue. She wasn't even talking about competing, but she texted me. She felt motivated to compete. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I love to hear that people want to compete because you know it helps your jiu-jitsu get better. And whether you think you're at the same level of the competition that's out there, who cares? Just go out and play your game. You have video. It's under pressure. It shows how well you know your jiu-jitsu. Like, it's easy to just be there's a term that this guy used to know called a gym fighter, right? Oh, you can kick ass in practice and you look good and all that, but bro, when it comes time for the big game or the competition, that's where it shows like whether you know your stuff or not, right? I mean, competition is not for everyone. I get it. It's just like not everyone's good at taking exams, so I get it. But if you have it in you that you're even thinking about doing it, just go for it. Competition makes you better. It drives you harder, and it kind of makes you wanting more, right? Now you're thinking, a good person will say, well, I lost, but how could I have prevented it? What techniques can I tune up? Where am I lacking, right? Versus, oh, I lost, I'm quit, I give up already. You cannot do that. Jiu-jitsu is a lifestyle that you continue to pursue perfection, I guess. I don't even know if you want to call it perfection, but you continue to try to improve, and that's really the beauty of jiu-jitsu. You're never on top. You never get to the point where you know everything. There's so much more to learn, and even when you learn, you go back and you relearn the old stuff. So jiu-jitsu is beautiful. I love it. Any closing thoughts, bro?
It's the Small Man Jiu-Jitsu gang. It's the Small Man Jiu-Jitsu gang. You already know, straight up, ready to go. Roll on the mat, wrap you up, choke your neck. Ready to go. Holo, every day.
Yes, sir. And I'm wearing my Keikoa travel gi. Gonna try it out today, see how it works out. Love you brothers at Keikoa. We out of here. Os.